and roll Chicago.
Hey, it's Ray and Mike, and we got some great information for you.
Yeah, we just wanted to remind you about the fundraiser for the Illinois Rock and Roll Museum on Route 66, which is taking place on October 27th at the Renaissance Center in downtown Joliet.
You'll be able to get tickets at Cadillac Groove shows. If you see Mike or myself somewhere, we'll have tickets. You can get them at the museum. They're only $5.
Also at CadillacGroove.com, you will be able to purchase them online as well.
Very good.
They're going to cost you $5 a ticket. There's going to be a $10 cover charge to get in the day of the event. And for your $10, we will give you 2 more additional tickets as well as some Cadillac Groove swag. And the lucky grand prize winner will win the band Cadillac Groove.
And winner must be present to win. So remember that.
And Cadillac Groove will play for whatever event it is that you would like for us to play for. You know, conditions do apply.
That's true.
We do have
so
to
get
say
out
that.
there and get your tickets right away.
Coming to you from the studios at the Illinois Rock and Roll Museum on Route 66, it's the Rock and Roll Chicago podcast.
Hey, everybody, it's Ray the Roadie.
And this here is Hollywood Mike.
Hi, Mike. I'm very excited tonight.
Yeah, why are you excited tonight?
You'll never guess what happened to me.
You're right. I probably wouldn't.
You're right.
Did it have something to do with your hair? Why it's standing up like that?
No. I won $1,000 in the lottery.
No.
Lucky day lotto.
Did you really?
I did.
How'd that happen?
I don't know.
I don't know anybody.
I bought the ticket. I scanned it and came up $1,000. I was like, this is awesome.
That'll buy a nice bottle of bourbon.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, a real nice bottle of bourbon. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll even get you like a hand-selected barrel-proof pour.
Maybe, yeah. Yeah, maybe I'll buy a barrel with it.
No way.
No.
No.
Maybe the cheap stuff.
Jack Daniels is $4,000 a barrel at Costco.
Oh, okay. I got to win some more lotteries.
I've heard. Not that I'm a lush or anything like that.
No, I understand. I understand
stuff.
I understand that.
We're going to be doing that later, right? You promised. You promised.
Yes, we will definitely be doing bourbon later on.
Okay.
You know, it's not like the place we go to is members only.
Oh, that's true.
It's open to the public.
Yeah, it's open to everybody.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get members only to buy us one.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. But tonight, we do have members only.
How's everybody doing?
Hey, guys. How's it going? And gals.
Again,
loving the crowd.
I mean, it's all dudes in the crowd.
It's all dudes in that crowd. I don't know what's with that crowd.
Yeah. You even have a female lead singer. Well, I guess that would be the reason why it's all dudes in the crowd.
Yeah,
she's cute. The rest of you guys are ugly.
That's right.
Much.
That's right.
Good thing it's a podcast. There's no video going on here.
We all got faces for radio, right?
Did somebody leave a saucer of milk out or something? Somebody seems to be coming back again and again.
Mr. McKenna. Mr. Brian
Look at this
McKenna.
guy. We can't get rid of him.
I'm like that one sock. It's always underneath your bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think that's a first.
I'm doing good.
I think that's a first. I think you're for our first three-peat.
Well, I'm going to be here also in June, and I believe I'm going to be here in July. So
yeah,
very good.
I'm with you guys.
No
very
kidding.
Good.
No kidding. So talk about an eclectic individual. I mean, you were here with the T.D. Clark Band, right? And you were here with your own band. You're playing all kinds of different music too.
Man's got to make a living.
Yeah.
Which is why I do other things besides music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. How long you been with these guys?
A year and a half. Going on 2 years this June.
2 years, June.
Lead guitarist, obviously.
Yes.
Yes, sir. And who do we have next?
I'm Caleb Tollison. I play the keyboards. I am the second version of the keyboard player, and I've been with the band for 2 years.
Were you cloned or something?
I was going to say the same thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Do you have a navel? I mean, were you born in a test tube?
Petri dish, actually, a petri dish.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you do when your navel itches and you don't have one?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
What do you do?
Fortunately, I have a belly button and I check it so often.
Yeah.
All right, that's good.
It's a lint. It's a lint magnet, but whatever.
That's right.
Yeah.
I came into the band during the Christmas season, and the previous keyboard player gave me a lot of training, and I fell in love with the band and with the music and with the crowd and with the venues and with the summer activities, and it went above and beyond. So that's why I'm sitting next to the guy who's been here 3 times because I want that to be me.
Yeah, there you go. And his name isn't Doc. We've had so many bands come in here, and the keyboard player is always named Doc.
Mm-hmm.
Always. I think it's because of Prince and the Revolution.
Sure, yeah. We don't have stage names yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you will. I mean, you can't have an 80s band without having some kind of weird name.
Yeah.
I'd like to go by Lisa Ford instead of Lita Ford.
Lisa Ford.
I've thought about it.
Right. Or Lisa Katera.
You're going to be
Ooh, I like that too.
That means 2 things. That could be a name, and you could also go to your Cadillac dealer and Lisa Katera. Come on, that was an 80s commercial. You guys are an 80s band, and you didn't pick up on that.
Where is your?
Where is it? There it is.
The drummer made sure.
Oh, you guys are too young, but I know you probably remember the Cadillac commercial.
Yep.
Lisa Katera, and there's some idiot that goes, "Who is Lisa Katera?"
I remember.
That was an 80s commercial.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah. And who do we have next?
I'm Izzy Campos. I've been with the band, I want to say like 6 months.
No.
Am I off?
Not even 6, like 3.
Okay, maybe like 2.5. Something like we'll meet right in the middle kind of deal.
Yeah.
But honestly, it feels like it's been like a lot longer,
He must be the drummer.
No, I'm actually the vocalist, believe it or not.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Wow,
So
okay.
now obviously I wasn't born in the 80s. But my parents,
Neither
it's
was
one of
I.
those things that they introduced me to the music, and I gotta say, man, it's I like it more than what we have nowadays.
We're going to get to that topic in a moment. But before we get ahead of ourselves, we're going to go through and finish introducing everybody, because that's the one thing that I want to talk about.
Ooh, it's making a comeback, baby.
Oh, yeah. We're going to talk about that. So we have Lisa Ford.
Yeah, Lisa Orduna, I joined about in December, and I feel like I hit the ground running with these guys. I've had about 8 shows with them so far, so it's been a great
just
time.
a baby in the band then.
Yeah. I started right after he did, actually. So.
Did you just add a bunch of new music because she joined the band, or did she start singing stuff you were already doing?
Yes.
We did. They added, these guys are workhorses. They added everything so fast, just a bunch of female songs, because I'm their first female singer in the band. So they had to add a bunch of female lead vocal songs. I'm sorry. So what's your portion of the set list? What songs are you singing? Oh, I'm doing Material Girl. I'm doing Kiss Me Deadly by Lita Ford. 99 Red Balloons, Black Velvet by Alana Miles. We're kind of hitting everything. The rock, the pop, and little blues with that Black Velvet. So we just have a lot of fun with it.
Joan Jett.
Oh yeah, definitely Joan Jett.
Oh, you have
Pat
to do Joan
Benatar.
Jett.
Of course, those two. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a
have the
law.
rockers
If you're
in
an
there.
80s band, female singer, Pat Benatar. Yeah. Joan Jett.
Word.
I'm going to take that.
We also do Words by Missing Persons, a little bit of a deeper cut.
Nobody does that.
Nobody does that.
I actually had that song as a 12-inch single back in the 80s when it was pressed for the first time.
Wow.
I actually had that. I was a DJ and I used it to mix in with other stuff, and it went really well.
Wow.
And everybody would always come up to me and say, "What is that song?" And,
Yes, and
they were
Jill
like
Bosio,
they were a
she
sleeper
played the part
band.
well. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can actually get there's actually stuff on YouTube of them performing live. They were actually a really good band, and they were more of a rock band than an electronica band as they would come off as on a record. Really,
Mm-hmm. Excellent drummer,
Yeah.
Terry Bosio.
Yeah. Lisa loves the Terry.
the Terry.
Yeah. My name is Pete. I'm the drummer. And I joined up when Paul asked me to audition on my birthday.
All right.
And actually, I got the job on my birthday. So I went home, and there was a little cake waiting for me. I said, "Hey, guys, I'm in a rock band now."
All right.
So, yeah.
That's pretty
It
cool.
was pretty cool.
Was it your first one? I mean, you
It was my
said
first birthday.
No, you're
I went, go, I got a minute.
yeah. No, but you said it like it was your first band you'd ever been in.
No. I've been in probably a dozen or more decent bands. And
Name them all, quick.
25. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. But no, it was a good audition. It was fun in a typical audition in a basement, the old style, just jam out, see what happens. But this is a band that does its homework, and like Lisa said, we're workhorses. We put a good thing together, and we're working hard trying to make it even better.
Right. Excellent.
A lot of good additions. These two new singers have really brought some good vibes to the scene, and a lot of positives.
Excellent.
Cool.
Pete should note that it is his house where we rehearse, and we call it the Lair.
Okay.
And for me, it is a sacred space, and not a single soul outside of this band has seen a picture of this space. It's a very sacred place.
How true it is. Yeah,
Okay.
the Lair is a really nifty place, and you guys were bringing up bourbon. Of course,
Right.
we've got 3 or 4 separate bottles of bourbon down there of various types, and the giant cubes. So we know what to do with bourbon at the end of our rehearsals. Let's put it that way.
So does this gentleman too, because when he was here with one of the other bands, they wanted to get their podcast released a little bit sooner, so they brought us a bottle of Buffalo Traces, kind of like payola.
Way to work the system.
They know.
Payola is alive and well in podcasting.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm guessing you were the founder of this band.
I guess everyone kind of looks at me as the OG. It's, de facto leader, just because, I actually started the band with a guy by the name of Stu Meyer, who was our original keyboard player. Mm-hmm. He decided to take off for the sunny shores of Florida. Mm-hmm. And that's how Caleb came into the band. But yeah,
that name sounds really familiar to me.
Well, Meyer, of course, is a pretty common last name, but he was really kind of new. It was his first band.
Okay.
So he Stu still does some compositions. He has his
the art scores.
The art scores, yeah. So he'll take and create original music, either guitar or keyboard music, inspired by different pieces of art. And he's got, he's on iTunes and other platforms with that particular outlet.
Right.
So he's a talented guy for sure.
I think Johnny Mathis did that.
Did he?
Yeah. Mona Lisa.
But you can do that. Yeah. Actually, how about, we keep Ray around because he adds the dad joke humor.
That's right. I'll be around all week.
Yeah, that's right. And now there's 6 of you in the studio. I'm a musician as well, so I can only count to 4. So I'm going to forget all of your names.
Yeah.
So I might be, you might be you by the end of the podcast or whatever it is. But Mr. Keyboard, I'm sorry, your name again?
Caleb.
So when you left the band, you said that the previous keyboard player kind of showed you a few things, kind of took care.
Yeah.
So it was
when
obviously
I
an amicable parting of ways.
It was. I mean, again, with Stu being a founder, he was very much into seeing this project continue.
Right.
So as he was leaving the band, I mean, he even sold Caleb his keyboard with all of the programming done. I mean, he was able to completely hit the ground running. And Caleb's a talented enough musician. I mean, he still had to learn the parts and everything.
Sure.
But a lot of that programming was done. And
I would mention Mike too, because Mike was a singer for 6 years.
Yeah.
So it's not like there's a revolving door.
No.
It's just Mike moved away 5 hours away, and that's a long way to come for.
That's a long commute.
Absolutely. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been a pretty stable platform. I mean, for a while there, we had 5-piece. It was very stable. I mean, like any band, you have changes here and there. People move away. People, just kind of fall out of it. But this iteration, I would say, is probably gives us the most diversity for, any previous version we've had.
Okay.
With Izzy's vocal range, and then, having a female singer in Lisa, it just opens up a ton of doors for us to go in different directions and really, pick songs that the crowd gets into and keep us inspired and, can really, to your point, like we were talking earlier about, hitting the festival circuit and hitting the bigger bars and clubs and stuff.
Right. So. And are you also the bass player in the band?
I am.
Excellent.
Yep.
Now, I'll admit, when it comes to 80s bands and 80s music, I am usually most intrigued with the keyboard player. So I'm going to pick on you the most because, man, you got to know your shit. I mean, you really do. And that it's not so much that it's a piano anymore. It's a computer.
Yeah. Well, the goal that I always have is to find a really good drummer to put all of the blame on. So,
have you found him yet?
Yeah. We're still looking for that guy.
We're still looking for that really good drummer, right?
No, we're speaking really highly of the previous keyboard player, and that's exactly who he was. He was a really good programmer and essentially taught me how to program. And these guys know it. I've done my own programming with this band. I would say I've done some really good programming on some really fun songs.
Yeah.
One being Rio, where you have a running arpeggiator.
The Duran song. Okay.
And for me and the way my brain works, if there's three things going on at the same time, and I have to be in control of that, and if there's a sudden hiccup or a stop, that gets my nerves going up just a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. So what's your setup?
I play a chord chrome.
Okay.
And I have a Yamaha MX49 on top as pretty much auxiliary.
Sure.
Just backup just in case, or just some filler.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I play with a Key Largo pedal that has multi-channel input that is really a secret mixer on the floor.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. So you got everything kind of going on over there.
Yeah. There's a huge spider web.
Right.
When I'm done setting up my keyboard.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah. I bet. And so I watched a couple of your videos and the whole bit and saw this stuff. And, because I've got this image in my head of you and the bands that you've been here with, and I've heard the music that you've played before. And I'm thinking, man, how do you go from that to just playing 80s where you're almost like a minimalist, I'd say, on a lot of that 80s stuff.
Well, and if we can enhance it, we'll enhance it. The one thing that, all of us have seen so many of the 80s bands or the different cover bands and how many of them are using tracks. Everything we're doing is 100% live.
Right.
So like a song like Material Girl, there's plenty of space to be creative to do some of those keyboard parts, but on guitar.
Right. So does your guitar rig change at all with this band from other?
Yeah.
Completely. Yeah, completely. You playing the same guitars or completely different guitars?
Different guitars.
Yeah. Wow. And amplifiers as well?
They kind of frown on amps, so I sneak a Fender Vibrolux in.
Okay.
And I have pedals and things like that, but yeah.
Frown on amplifiers. Okay, all right. I hate everybody else in your band now except for you. No.
That was my goal. Yeah. This way I'll be back and they're done.
Because I can't do it. I mean, I'm a guitar player. There's no way I could perform without an amp. It doesn't sound the same. I don't care how much you think it does. It doesn't. Man.
Yeah, and that's
but most importantly, for me, it doesn't feel the same under the fingers either. That's a big thing for me. It doesn't feel the same under the fingers. But anyways.
So I bring my own amp. I actually bring a microphone and mic. Yeah. I'm not doing an XR out correct like, a lot of the people are doing today.
Right. Because I can tell the difference in that sound as well. I tried it one time and I was like, okay, I've got this beautiful amplifier. Why do I want to use a direct box that has a modeling feature on it? So my beautiful amp doesn't sound like my beautiful amp anymore. That was the philosophy behind it. So,
well, part of the reason, part of what we're doing and trying to create on stage, again, is this trackless operation.
Right.
But also a super clean stage where in-ear monitors, we're not using any wedges. It's a super clean look, kind of like what the 80s was trying to create. And in a way, we've accomplished that. There is an amp on stage, and it sounds phenomenal. And Brian is getting complimented literally at every gig about the tone and the quality that he's playing. But at the same time, a nice, clean look on stage without with a lot of stuff laying around, and trying to keep it as clean as possible is pretty much what we're trying to do.
So on that note, if you're concerned about the stage, the appearance of the stage and the whole bit, costumes or no costumes? You playing a role? How you doing that?
For a long time, we would come on stage with the jackets.
Okay.
Everyone had, and I think everyone still has a members only jacket.
Okay.
I mean,
right.
I still have mine tucked in the closet.
But then you start sweating
Next to your leisure
Oh
suit.
my God. Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You saw the jackets. We're done.
Yeah,
now.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's usually the way it would run is we'd get about 3 songs in. All of a sudden, those things are coming off. I
Right.
think in the, especially once Caleb joined the band, he bought a jacket, but then we're like, what are we doing here? We gotta spice things up a little bit. So I think we've all kind of picked up different kind of personas in terms of, what we're doing. I have you've seen the pictures. I have a vest that has patches for all the different bands we're doing. And, Brian looks like a ZZ Top guy with sunglasses and stuff. And
every day.
Sure.
Yeah. Caleb a lot of times wears like a jumpsuit or,
Devo.
Yeah.
Everybody calls me Devo.
There you go.
Yeah.
No shame in that.
No. Yeah. That's actually a cool persona to take on something like that. Cause it's real simple. You just go down to the auto parts store and get, like a 1-piece jumper.
It's exactly what I do.
But you got to find the hat.
Yeah. No, he doesn't need the hat, but I mean,
Don't need it, but it would add to it.
Yeah.
The energy.
Talk about being
domes.
comfortable.
Yeah.
You don't even have to wear underwear in that.
Energy.
That's true.
Yeah. They weren't hats. They were energy domes.
They were energy domes.
energy.
I stand corrected.
Wow. I mean, he's like nerding out right in front of our eyes. He's like really into the 80s music here.
Yeah.
You knew that.
Yeah.
Wow. Energy domes.
They don't circuit their music anymore, but they do circuit the energy domes. They were huge.
So you guys haven't been in the band very long. So you've been, how long you said?
About maybe 6 months.
6 months.
If that.
And you bought a members only jacket.
Actually, no, not yet. I did buy a lot of
Because
substances.
where the hell are you going to find a members only jacket now?
You got to eBay or something, but you already know
Really?
those prices are jacked, man.
Man, there are some people buying. I don't see Lisa wearing a members only jacket though.
No, I have my own outfits and fun costumes. I mean, it was the 80s. So for women, I mean, there are leg warmers, there are lace gloves, beaded necklaces. Everything's so colorful.
Don't fool yourself.
It's a lot of fun.
Don't fool yourself. Guys wore that stuff in the 80s too.
And they did.
That's true.
They probably shared with their girlfriends. It's definitely a fun band to be in.
I don't even want to find pictures of myself from the 80s. No, actually, truth be told, back in the 80s, my hair was longer than yours.
I'm growing it out for that reason. Trying to embody it.
And I had a pair of red parachute pants, and my first guitar was a hot pink Washburn with one knob and one humbucker.
That's hot.
That's and people told me that I looked like Vito Bratta from White Lion. Because my hair is naturally curly when it's longer. So and girls used to always be like, do you get like a spiral perm? Nope. This is just my hair, baby. Want to run your fingers through it?
I've got a picture of you with makeup and nail polish.
Yeah, I was wearing makeup and nail polish. I did that.
Yeah, like a lot of those 80s frontmen.
Just
like
recently.
shopping in the women's section too,
Yeah. It happens.
Yeah, makeup and nail polish. I was in a band in 77 called Star Trooper.
Oh gosh. So
Buddy Wiggleman and and the boys. But anyway, Star Trooper and One Arm
that band.
One Arm Bandit. Remember One Arm Bandit?
Yep.
Well, it was an offshoot. Star Trooper.
Okay.
Went on tour with those guys in Michigan and Southern Illinois and stuff for a little while. And all of us had spandex outfits and wearing eye makeup and sweating our butts off and just unbelievable. But I digress.
yeah, no, that's you know what though, because you really have to talk those of us who lived through the 80s. I mean, I graduated from high school in 1988. I grew up in the 80s. It was awesome time, and you can't jump over the adventures you would go through trying to take leather pants off after you've been sweating all day long. Nothing was more difficult to remove than leather pants, except for parachute pants. Parachute pants would literally stick to your body.
Oh yeah. That material.
Yeah. So we started getting on a conversation a little bit earlier about 80s music is coming back, right?
Yeah.
And it is.
It is.
So expand on that since you started it. Expand on it.
I just noticed that a lot of my friends, especially nowadays, they're just turning on the older beats, you know. It's really nothing much else to it for me.
Yeah.
Like just me, like my parents and everybody else. It's so good, you know.
Right.
It was a time that like really embodied creativity a lot more rather than mass production like we see nowadays.
Right.
You know.
And again, you were focusing on the keyboard side of things and this melodic situation. You know, the 80s is sometimes frowned upon, but to be honest, I wasn't a huge 80s fan until I joined the band. And then I started to dive into some of these tunes.
Right.
And they are incredibly melodic. There's a great bunch of vocal professionals in that decade. Thousands of songs that are really potentially danceable, enjoyable, wonderful to sing and play. Drumming, again, maybe not metal, maybe not as intense as some of the metallic stuff that we see, but at the same time, the nuances. That's what it's been about for me is in terms of drumming is finding those little nuances, those little pieces of fills that people recognize and really add to the song, trying to be as accurate as possible. I think that's been the mantra of our band, essentially. Create as accurate a reproduction of the song as possible. Mm-hmm. So
I get asked to join 70s cover bands occasionally. And I think about it for 5 minutes. And then I go, I'd be so bored playing the same patch for a 3-hour gig. And one thing I love about this band is I have close to 130 different patches.
Wow. Yeah.
And it's just, not to mention Pete and I are probably working. Just we're the ones sweating our butts off. Mm-hmm. The keyboard player and the drummer are working very hard. And in an 80s cover band with no tracks.
Yeah.
That needs to be the title of this podcast, by the way.
Yeah.
Members only, no tracks.
Is a machine. We will do new wave with where like Depeche Mode, where there might be like an electronic drum track and in the original song. And once Pete gets his beat going, he will keep it through consistently through the whole song. And yeah.
Well, thanks. So there's something else as well I want to bring up too. Why another big reason the 80s is making a big comeback, because we see so much of it in pop culture nowadays. Like just a lot of TV shows, like Stranger Things, like they're bringing all that older music back. And now you have this younger generation listening to that. And they're like, you know what? We like this music more than what we're listening to right now. Mm-hmm. So just a lot of things that we see, you know, on the internet, on TV, all those kinds of things. More and more people are becoming aware of it than ever before. So
agreed.
Yeah. You know, I saw a very interesting documentary. I was in Philadelphia earlier this week, and I flew home yesterday. And it's not a long flight, so I'm looking at the free television programs and movies and stuff like that. And I came across one thing. The only reason I picked it was because it was an hour and 29 minutes long. Right. Yeah. I wanted to be able to finish something and not go home. And God, I didn't see the end of that. Right. And it was the documentary about Donna Summer. Mm-hmm. And it was so unbelievably interesting. I was enthralled in it. Number one, she went through so much throughout her life, but the music that she was doing in the 70s, to this day, anybody that's trying to do any type of electronic sampling learned from the people that produced all of those Donna Summer albums back in the late 70s and into the early 80s. All you have to do is listen to like the song Bad Girls by Donna Summer, and where you've got that driving, it's a sound that's not made by any instrument known to man. It's just like this kachuka thing with a lot of reverb over and over. And there was a section where they pulled that track out of the song and the song fell apart. There was nothing to this. And then they put that back in again. And that was like the glue that held the entire song together. And then they started playing all kinds of other songs like, here's that sound again. Here's that sound again. Here's that sound again. And it went all the way through to songs that have been on the radio within the past like 3 years that all have that sound in there.
Yeah.
So there's a common thread in there for sure. And I think of in terms like, not so much the electronic type music. I don't even know what they would have called it in the 80s, but today we call it electronic music, right?
Yeah.
I'm thinking more of the rock and roll type kind of stuff from the 80s is the stuff that you're hearing now more frequently on the radio.
For sure.
And
we've been working on that as well. I mean, we're running the gamut, literally. Depeche Mode, Erasure, Bon Jovi, Poison. It's all over the map for what we're trying to do. We're really trying to give the audience, I've likened us to, in a sense, and I said this before, we're essentially an 80s tribute band. We're paying tribute to the music that was played during that decade.
Right.
There are a lot of guys that are out there, tons of bands that are out there just basically focusing on a single group, maybe intermixing a couple of other bands in their sets.
Right.
But essentially, we're a Bon Jovi, we're Guns N' Roses, we're whatever. We're essentially paying tribute to a decade's worth of material and picking things from all over those 10 years and finding ways to get it done accurately and making people happy. In a sense, creating a jukebox of music for them to choose from.
Right.
They never know what we're going to do. We rerun about 90 songs roughly, and we choose 36 or so for a night if we're lucky. So, it's constantly matched. In fact, Paul's set list are essentially pulled out of he pushes play on a computer and it creates a set list for us, and we might tweak it a little bit, but that's it. Right. We just do those songs that night.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, we are really, and with having two new singers, we have about a 90 song catalog.
Okay.
We've recently kind of taken a different approach to how we structure our set lists and kind of look at what songs are more popular and, try to pick more of those. But to Pete's point, yeah, I'm basically just running stuff out of a spreadsheet with a random number generator. And it's like, these are the songs that we're going to do for, maybe not every gig, but every couple gigs, we're changing stuff up.
Right.
And we're trying to get to the point where, you come out to see us this Friday, you come see us next month, it's going to be a completely different show.
Sure.
I think that as a band nowadays, if you're playing in, the Chicagoland area overall, whether you're up in Lake County or out in, DuPage County or down south someplace, as you hit those areas again, even if it's not at the same venue, you got to mix it up. A lot of those tribute bands where it's like, you have a short set list. So every time you see them, you're going to hear the same songs. And that's one of the other things too, I think that's helpful with not relying on tracks is just, it allows us to do that. Every show can be different because it's not a set sequence.
Right.
Well, I think it's the perfect time to hear one of those songs.
I think we should.
Okay. Why don't we let them get set up and we'll be right back.
This should be quite interesting, actually.
You're listening to the Rock and Roll Chicago Podcast.
I'm Christy from Crime Cave Podcast. I've had a huge interest in true crime since my days of watching marathons of Snapped back in the mid-90s. I needed an outlet to talk about the cases that have haunted me for a very long time. With each episode under 20 minutes, I shine a light on some of the most bizarre cases in the last 50 years. Join me in The Crime Cave.
Hi, I'm Rick Anthony. I'd like to thank my radio brothers, Ray the Roadie and Hollywood Mike, for allowing me to tell you about my podcast, the Someone You Should Know podcast. We spotlight musicians, authors, and interesting people, and we like to say we're making a difference one artist at a time. The podcast is heard twice a week on Mondays and Thursdays, and you can check it out on your favorite streaming platforms and on the web at someoneyoushouldknowpodcast.com. That's the Someone You Should Know podcast with me, Rick Anthony, making a difference one artist at a time.
And for the first time tonight, members only.
Mississippi in the middle of a dry spell. Jimmy Rogers on the Victrola pie. Mama's dancing with baby on her shoulder. The sun is setting like molasses in the sky. The boy could sing you how to move everything, always wanting more. He leave you longing for black velvet with that little boy smile. Black velvet with that slow southern style. A new religion, it'll bring you to your knees. Black velvet, if you please.
Pressure pushing down on me, pushing down on you. No one that's for. Under pressure, the birds are bending down. There's a family in two. Puts people on the streets. It's the terror of knowing what this world is about. Watching a good friend screaming, let me out. Tomorrow takes me higher. Pressure on people living on the streets. Better. But I'm
I got to go get my parachute pants on.
I'm not helping you take them off though. Boy, that was okay. I would have never put those two songs together.
No, that was awesome.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, nice job. That's good.
Caleb do one.
Brian,
Oh, true.
Brian creates some magic typically. He's a fantastic musician.
He's a magician because he's been here 3 times.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Well, and you know,
Did you
that
say
kind of
musician or magician? You said he's a magician.
Yeah, he's walking in like.
Oh, he said physician?
Right
No.
here. Yes, sir.
He said, I thought he said, but you know, my hearing is not what it used to be. You know,
I don't know.
stop picking on me.
I think it might be a magician. I'm tricking everybody.
Could be. Yeah. Maybe he's a mathematician because he's been here 3 times. And no, he's not.
You know what's interesting though, guys, is he's been here 3 times, but he's never been in the lair with a bottle of bourbon. That's interesting. You know, that whole thing that he did with you guys, bringing in that bottle of bourbon, that's, I got to remember that trick.
Well, it actually wasn't his idea. He was bourbon adjacent.
Yes.
He was bourbon adjacent. No, that was good. I never really would have thought putting those 2 songs together.
Yeah.
Do you guys perform that way in your show, or do you just don't tell me you guys went to the lair and rehearsed that just for us?
No. We generally do. I mean, we're not really an acoustic act, although, you know, I think with some of the stuff we've done recently, maybe we'll start splitting off and doing some, you know, duo and trio gigs. But yeah, well, yeah, it's always an option. So, yeah, we do perform those. It's obviously a little bit more true to form, a lot more keyboards, you know.
Sure.
So.
Of course.
Yeah.
You know, but right before we took the break, we were talking about, you know, the different stuff that you guys do. And what I was kind of thinking of is you almost have to do that. I think you almost really have to do that because, you know, when people talk about 80s music, there's so many different things. Some people will imagine, you know, stuff like Human League and Pet Shop Boys and a lot of electronic driven music. But then also in the 80s, you had singer-songwriters like Dan Fogelberg, right?
Sure. Mm-hmm.
You know, and then you had real heavy metal. Then you had hair metal, which wasn't the same, right? And then you had bands like Bon Jovi, who they tried to call them heavy metal, but never in their
That was
life.
more like the arena rock.
Heavy metal. That was, arena
rock.
That'd be a good thing to say. Arena rock, right?
There was certainly, I mean, and I mean, I would put Bon Jovi in the class where they kind of started off as a hair metal band or hair band, and they kind of ascended to that arena.
Right. Or they tried to, like, God, remember when they tried to turn Guns N' Roses into a hair metal band, and Axl Rose came out with all kinds of Aquanet in his poofed hair, and he decided to walk off the stage, but he said, nope, not going to do it.
Yeah. I mean, well, and honestly, that's it, in terms of everything we've talked about and all those different genres. I mean, when you look at how we market the band, it's hair, new wave and pop rock. And that's kind of how we, put things out there. I think that covers a lot of the bases in terms of the genres that would be popular. I mean, not to say that Dan Fogelberg wouldn't be popular, but I don't see a whole lot of, women going out and having some drinks and dancing to Dan Fogelberg, right?
we have a vision. Could have a wow factor though. After you've just jumped everybody up and down, and then you slow it down and longer than
we get bust into some Air Supply and then followed up with Hey Mickey.
See, now you're onto something. See, now you're thinking you guys should be writing this stuff down. Are you kidding?
Yeah. That means we'd have to give you a royalty, though. I mean,
this band really does have a vision, though, of the ultimate 80s band or the ultimate dance party, because you're dancing to probably 80 to 90% of our tunes.
Definitely.
For the whole night. And you're definitely getting a break on your ears through a handful of our songs. We do a couple slow songs throughout the night, or just we slow it down so people can go grab a drink, or if they want to do a slow dance. But this is the ultimate dance party. You're going to remember something. We bring a bunch of glow sticks and
of course you have to.
You have to.
Why not? And if you guys aren't doing it as a slow ballad, you absolutely have to, always by Climax.
I had to step back and think about that for a second.
For a minute, I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah, it's a duet. And that song was like at the top of the charts for how many friggin' weeks? It probably became one of the most popular wedding songs in the 80s, and it was actually a really good song.
For sure.
I had that 45. For you guys, that's a black disc about this big around with a big hole in the middle. Yeah.
My parents had a little Whip It by Devo 45. That was probably the only 45 I saw that they had.
Wow.
Vinyl.
We had a gig yesterday, and we had people after. It was a private event down in Normal, Illinois, and we had people afterward come up, and they're like, "Oh wow, you played that song, and then you played that song. And you can't believe you played everything." Example, we went from Jump to Let's Go Crazy. We had 99 Red Balloons, and then we did Enjoy the Silence by Depeche Mode. So we were just everywhere, and just everyone was just loving it and having a good time. And we love to see people just having a great time.
Mm-hmm.
So
kind of like a radio station.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the great thing about having it as a dance party is when everybody goes on the dance floor and you see everybody dancing, and you try to give off that energy, right? And then they kind of bring that right back to you. So it's kind of just that relationship with the crowd, everybody's driving each other's energy. So with the whole dance party thing, I really enjoy that part.
Yeah, we were reflecting energy, much like Caleb's shiny little Devo suit.
Yeah.
Like last night was a great crowd.
Yes. I like what you said, Izzy. And Pete said this many times, but we're trying to bring the crowd on stage as much as possible. Not physically, but
yeah. Take my mic. Yeah, sing a song. Go ahead.
Just come on stage with us. You're part of this too.
Yeah.
And when you catch a glimpse of that, and when they catch a glimpse of that, you're making a memory right then and there, and so are they. And I have made some of the best memories of my life in this band, for sure.
He's so lovey-dovey, and
yeah,
he loves you guys. You can
fuzzy.
tell. I can see that was genuine.
That's because he's done things that he can't say on the radio. And I was like, hey.
Does anybody have a Kleenex?
That was so
but he is
sweet.
right. He is right. We've had a hell of a lot of fun with this team, and it's getting better. It's just getting better and better.
It is getting better. These two added singers have just been a ball of fun, and learning Material Girl and programming it and learning some of these songs I didn't think I'd be able to play in this band has just been a whole new world of opportunities. Izzy sounds just like Queen or Steve Perry. And
when I'm standing up,
and that's always a shocker to the crowd when we do Don't Stop Believin' by Journey and the lights come on and everybody is on the dance floor for that song and
singing along.
Yeah.
Yeah, even like the homeless people outside, they hear that song, they just come walking right in. Boom, everybody's invited.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, what else have you prepared for us? Because I think we should hear a little bit more.
Oh, true.
Just like heaven. Okay.
Starting key.
All right, we'll be right back. You're listening to the Rock and Roll Chicago podcast.
Rock and roll Chicago.
Hey, it's Ray and Mike, and we got some great information for you.
Yeah, we just wanted to remind you about the fundraiser for the Illinois Rock and Roll Museum on Route 66, which is taking place on October 27th at the Renaissance Center in downtown Joliet.
You'll be able to get tickets at Cadillac Groove shows. If you see Mike or myself somewhere, we'll have tickets. You can get them at the museum. They're only $5.
Also at CadillacGroove.com, you will be able to purchase them online as well.
Very good.
They're going to cost you $5 a ticket. There's going to be a $10 cover charge to get in the day of the event. And for your $10, we will give you 2 more additional tickets as well as some Cadillac Groove swag. And the lucky grand prize winner will win the band Cadillac Groove.
And winner must be present to win. So remember that.
And Cadillac Groove will play for whatever event it is that you would like for us to play for. You know, conditions do apply.
That's true.
We do have
so
to
get
say
out
that.
there and get your tickets right away. And now for the second time tonight, members only.
Talking away. I don't know what to say. I'm saying it anyway. Today is another day to find you kind away. I'll be coming for your love, okay? Take on me. Take on me. Take me on. Take on me. I'll be gone. Needless to say, Martinez may not be someone in a way. So anything life is okay. Say after me. This is better to be safe than sorry. Take on me. Take on me. Take me on. Take on me. I'll be gone.
go. Straight back to the 80s.
That was a great sample. Yeah, it was. I like that. And you kind of played a little bit of something for everybody.
That's right.
That's what I liked about it. That was good. That was good. Man, you guys can all sing too. Man, I wonder what it's like to be in a band where everybody sings.
I don't know.
Pretty scary when you've got in-ear monitors. You're listening to it all. You're hearing it all.
Right.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. And then sometimes, you have the band members that just try to mess you up on purpose and they'll do stuff like go while you're trying to sing.
All right.
Don't you?
Unfortunately, I don't think there's any of that.
Oh, Caleb did that to me last week. We were in a studio doing I Love Rock and Roll. We were doing a sound check, and he kept doing like a whistle, like a gym whistle, and I had to try my hardest not to laugh, just goofing around. Thanks, Caleb.
Yeah.
We're having so much fun. Yeah.
Brian and I occasionally untie each other's shoes on live stages, just in case.
Just, why not? See what happens. Yeah, you really want to have some fun. Just have your sound guy put a microphone up for somebody in the band, but only the sound person and that one person knows about it. And while you're all performing, they can just like turn over to that microphone and like start telling you a joke or something. That always makes it
only going in your ear.
That's great. I like that. Yeah.
I mean, you should. I mean, honestly, like, good example is some of the shenanigans that happen when we play "Fight for Your Right."
Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Good Lord.
Oh, yeah.
On stage or off stage?
On stage.
Yeah.
Like these two are
Pushing
each other, and
we're fighting. Yeah. We don't like each other. He's a guitar player. I'm a keyboard player. I don't want to be on stage with this guy.
Oh.
But he's been here 3 times.
Yeah, right.
He has. That's right.
You won't be here a second time.
Keep it up. You might not leave this room. No, that's good. And, you have to have that chemistry. It's called show business, right? You got to show the party and show the fun as well.
Yeah, for sure.
So you guys have quite a few dates. What's going on? What do you guys have coming up in September? What do you have coming up in September?
What do we have going on? August, yeah, we're really busy in August.
Yeah, August was awesome. You guys rocked it. We were at all those shows. We need September though.
Jeez, we got to think about. September's a work in progress, I think.
Oh, because he's going to be, leaving and going out of town, right?
Yeah. So when it does come around, where can people find your schedule?
Our full schedule is always online at www.membersonly80sband.com. You can also find us on Facebook at Members Only 80s Band, as well as Instagram, Members Only 80s Band. We don't really have a whole lot of footprint on Twitter/X at this point, but it seems like Twitter and X are kind of more of a movie star and millennial kind of platform. I think a lot of our fans are more like the 40-something crowd, 50 something crowd.
Yeah, you can go to MySpace, right?
Yeah.
Right. So it's amazing though. I mean, I say that. I mean, our main demographic is certainly that kind of 40 to 50, maybe in the early 60 something. Yeah. But quite honestly, to Izzy's point, you come to our shows and the 20 and 30 somethings are certainly
don't write off
partying.
We had a gig a couple weeks ago. It was a bunch of people like my age, a bunch of millennials, like 20s, 30s, and they had an 80s party going on. Everybody was in their 80s garb, and it was just good times. So, yeah, the 80s are definitely back.
We've got some rabid fans that are bringing table-mounted fluorescent something or others that flamingos that are, we know who they are. We're looking through the lighting, and suddenly it's like they're Flamingo Girl and her pals are here. Okay, cool. So it's been very interesting to see the demographics. We're getting a lot of younger people, and again, they're just coming to have a good time. That's all we're interested in doing, creating a good time, having people reminisce a little bit, have fun, do some dancing. Follow us there. We've got a little over 4,000 followers now or so. Yeah. It's been building up over time. It's just a matter of keeping on going and creating an atmosphere of fun.
Right.
This is not blow your ears out, get absolutely nuts and mosh pit action. We're talking about get on the dance floor, have some fun with your hubby or your girlfriends, enjoy it some time. Go home and say, "Man, it
you
was
just lost
great.
me, man. I want to mosh pit and blow my ears out."
Yeah.
You can go across the street with
That's the kind of guy they hired. I mean, it's funny enough. Yeah, because I come from like that, just like that headbanging thing, So sometimes I do go overboard, with the energy that I bring, So, sometimes I got to tune that back.
Last night doing flips and what was that? What was going on this night?
But so it's like it's definitely like a change of pace. Doing this is more like chill, laid back, more of a groove.
Yep.
Whereas you and I were probably used to that. Like,
yep.
Yeah.
Go nuts. But you're right. I mean, everybody loves an 80s party. I just watched the movie, a few nights ago, maybe about a week ago or so. And I can't remember. I think Rebel Wilson was in the movie or something like that. But somebody got invited to a party and she goes, "No way, I hate that bitch. Next time I see her, I'm going to cut her." She goes, "But it's an 80s party." She goes, "What time does it start?"
There we go.
That's going to be a lot. I actually kind of envy that. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys should find that clip somewhere and start your show with that.
Yeah, I wish I could think of the movie. I wish I could think of the movie. I'm pretty sure it was with Rebel Wilson. Something about one of her girlfriends broke up with.
I'm sure we can ask Siri and she'll be able to tell us.
Or Alexa.
Right, yeah.
Phones are on silent.
Right, yeah.
10 minutes.
Yeah, that's right. Well, hey, I had a lot of fun with you guys.
So did I.
Thanks for being here.
I'm going to have a hell of a time getting these parachute pants off after they're gone, but
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
All righty, guys. Thanks for coming out. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll
Appreciate
catch
the
you
time.
later.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
Yep.
Thanks so much.
For sure.
Thank you.
Man, I'm sweating through my parachute pants.
Oh, gag me with a spoon.
Archie! Or maybe that was the 70s. I don't know.
That was definitely the 70s.
Yeah, that definitely
Archie.
was. Yeah. Sorry.
Wait, was that just an Edith Bunker imitation?
Yeah, I tried. Yeah, I tried. It's a very poor one. Very poor one. But that was great.
Yeah, no, that was
good. Them guys
good.
sounded good. I mean, we got 6 people in the studio. That's, I think that's our maximum capacity.
I think that's the closest I ever sat to you in my life.
Right? I think so.
we were all just like nestled in around here around the table. Yeah.
But it was great. They sounded really good, and they got a good thing going there, man. It's like I said, it's like a radio station.
Yeah, you know what? I have to admit, I had a preconceived notion of what another 80s cover band is going to sound like.
Mm-hmm.
But they're doing a little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything, yeah.
So it's not just all that, electronic stuff, which people think of or associate with the 80s.
Right. You forget there's other stuff out there too.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So that was great. So thanks for listening, and make sure you join every Tuesday for another exciting episode of the Rock and Roll Chicago Podcast. See you next week. Hey, everybody, it's Ray the Roadie.
And this is Hollywood Mike of the Rock and Roll Chicago Podcast. If you've been enjoying our weekly program, we have great news for you. Just tune in to Road to Rock Radio on Mondays at 7 p.m. Central Time, and you can hear a rebroadcast of one of our past episodes. Then again on Thursdays at 7 p.m., you can hear our most current episode brought to you by the Illinois Rock and Roll Museum on Route 66.
So go to roadtorock.org, scroll down, and click on Radio Station. That'll bring you to the Road to Rock Radio, a station committed entirely to the great music from Illinois, from Chicago blues born on Maxwell Street to today's rock and roll and everything in between. 24/7, all music with its roots in Illinois.
The Rock and Roll Chicago Podcast is edited by Paul Martin. Theme song courtesy of M&R Rush. The Rock and Roll Chicago Podcast does not own the rights to any of the music heard on the show. The music is used to promote the guests that are featured.
Chicago.